Right now, Republican politicians are hiding from their constituents. And they got good reason to. I'll give them that, right? Because the few town halls that they did go out there and host over the last few weeks did not go well. They were not, as Republicans have claimed, swamped with paid agitators from the Democratic Party. They were, in fact, simply confronted by their own angry constituents who are uncertain about the future and unhappy with the direction of the country. But that was enough for Republicans to say, screw it, we're not doing any town halls. In fact, you had the chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee come out and explicitly say, don't do any more town halls. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said, don't do any more town halls. So, what are the voters to do if their Republican members of Congress won't speak to them? The answer was revealed within the last 5-6 days. And that is, if the Republicans won't listen to you, go to the town halls being put on by the Democrats. And it does appear that that is what has happened over the last few days. Now, there's a great story in The Advocate, not a perfect story, but it's a decent story, that tells the story of how two Democratic lawmakers over the weekend, Democratic Representative Emily Randall and Wisconsin Representative Mark Pocan. Randall held a conference in Olympic College in Bremerton, Oregon. Thousands of people showed up, right? In fact, so many people showed up, she actually had to add a second event just to be able to accommodate all of the overflow. So that's how popular that was, because people wanted to have their voices heard. Pocan in Wisconsin actually held his town hall right on the edge of the district between him and his Republican colleague. He had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people show up. Now, the reason I say that this article from The Advocate was not perfect, because those are the only two Democrats they mention. And those crowds were big, sure, right? Filled to the brim. But those weren't even the biggest. The biggest, of course, came from Bernie Sanders. And this article from The Advocate literally does not mention the name Bernie Sanders once, which is a little annoying, because Bernie Sanders continues to get overlooked by the damn Democratic Party, even though he's carrying the load. Bernie Sanders, from Friday throughout the weekend, spoke to tens of thousands of people who showed up across Wisconsin and into Michigan to listen to his, what they're calling the Stop the Oligarchy tour. He had 4,000 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin on Friday night. The next morning, 2,600 in Altoona, a town that has less than 10,000 residents. Had 2,600 people in a town of less than 10,000 people. He had a crowd of 9,000 in Detroit. Several other thousands showed up to see him speak in Nebraska. Thousands more showed up to see him in Iowa. Bernie Sanders led the way, and he was doing this, before a lot of these other folks were. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a huge Bernie Sanders fan. I'm saying that because Bernie Sanders' own campaign has said, we didn't even want to have to do this. That's why we waited until March to even start doing it, because we were hoping somebody else was going to step up and be the leader the Democratic Party needs, instead of the 83-year-old Bernie Sanders, who obviously is not going to be able to run for president again. We wanted other leaders to emerge, but they didn't, so we led the way, and it worked. And I give full credit to Representatives Randall and Pocan and everybody else out there doing this as well. Thank you for doing it. This is great. But everybody did kind of wait until Bernie Sanders did it, and then they jumped on. So just kind of want to point that out, but keep it up, right? That is the message. This is not me trying to shame Democrats. This is saying, hell yeah, you guys are finally doing the right thing. You had Tim Walz last week come out and say, listen, if Republicans aren't going to go to their districts and talk to people, maybe I have to be the one to do it. Ro Khanna has said that. AOC has said that. Great, guys. Go do it. It doesn't have to be your district. It doesn't have to be your state. Voters want their voices heard. And if AOC can travel to Kansas and draw a crowd, maybe those people will say, okay, well, it's not my representative, but the Democrats talked to me and the Republicans shunned me. Maybe I'm with the wrong group. That's why Bernie Sanders started off in Nebraska and then Iowa. That's what Democrats have to do. I'm proud of what you're doing so far. Let's take it to the next level. You don't have to stay in your district. You don't even have to stay in your state. You can go other places. People want to know that somebody is listening to them. And the Republicans are refusing to do it. So this is where you take that next step. I do believe we will see that. And I do believe it'll be a success. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.